Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Law YouTube channel. So today in this video, we are going to see about the NL network 01 error, and this is one of the very common error that we will face whenever we run a huge load of tests, and we might be wondering what is this error and how to fix this. So today in this video we'll see what is this error is all about and how to fix this error during the load test, because this NL network error is a result of a lot of performance bottleneck, and this will show you that there's a lot of bottleneck in your application. So we'll first see what are the reasons, what are the common scenarios that it'll occur, and then we'll see how to fix it. And before we move on to this video, this is me, Vasan Shanmugam. I welcome you all to our Little YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed it yet, and please do comment, give a thumbs up if you like this video, and share the video with your friends, and please do join my channel. So moving on to the NL-NETWORK-01 error. So this NL-NETWORK-01 error occurs when your server fails to respond with the expected result that the Trisent is Neoload is waiting for. So that is the reason we get this NL-NETWORK-01 error. So this error can disrupt the performance testing process and lead to inaccurate results. So to address this, it's important to understand the underlying causes, and we'll see how to troubleshoot them effectively. So the following video will see the best practices for us to attempt to resolve the issue on our own. And since there are like several reasons for NL network zero errors, we will focus on the common scenarios. So the first part is the network device overload. So the first thing, the network device overload issue happens when the network hardware, such as the routers, the switches, or the firewalls, become overwhelmed with traffic, and this can lead to delays or dropped packets, preventing the server from responding correctly. And when it comes to the solution, we'll have to check the load and the performance of network devices, and also we have to make sure that they are not operating at or near the maximum capacity, and we have to consider the load balancing or upgrading the hardware if necessary. So that's all about the network device overload. And then the second part is the backend servers. So the backend servers, such as the databases or the resource servers, may face issues that prevent them from responding, and this could be due to high load, or due to configuration problems, or due to hardware failures. And what is the solution for this? So we have to monitor the performance and health of the backend servers, and we have to optimize the database queries. We have to ensure sufficient resources such as CPU, the memory, and also we have to check for hardware issues. And even after doing that, we have to implement redundancy and failover mechanisms to handle the server failures. And thirdly, the front end servers. So the front end servers, for example, if you are using Microsoft, you'll be coming across IAS, or if you are using Tomcat, Java, you'll be coming across the Apache, which may have limitations in handling the number of connections, or you might face thread pool limits. That is an example in Tomcat, you'll face that thread pool limit. So this can lead to connection refusals or delays in response. And what is the solution for this? So you have to increase the number of allowed connections and adjust the thread pool settings. And also you have to monitor the server logs for any errors or warnings related to connection limits, and you have to ensure the server has adequate resources and is properly configured for the expected load. So using one or multiple combinations of these solutions, you can troubleshoot the NL-NETWORK-01 error more effectively, and by addressing the root causes, you can minimize the disruptions and achieve a quick resolution, and through that your performance testing, you will yield accurate and reliable results. And then the more common thing is like you will be facing multiple errors, like you will be facing the errors. So when it comes to the typical errors, we normally have two errors. So out of which the first error is, let me just open the window. Yeah, so the first error is the java.net no root to host exception and no root to host connect. So the first thing is, this error indicate that an issue occurred while attempting to connect a socket to a remote address and port, and this usually happens when the remote host is unreachable. So what are the causes of this error? The first error. So an intervening firewall that blocks the traffic, or an intermediate router that is down preventing the connection. So these are the two reasons where you'll be coming across or you'll get this error. Yeah, this is the error here. So java.net no route to host exception and no route to host connect. So what is under which scenario you get this? So your load generator sends the request, but something else obstructs the traffic leading to this error. So that is the reason you get this error. So what is that something else, and how we'll see how to fix that in this video. And then there is another error, which so yeah, just coming back to this one, java.net no route to host exception. So this can happen when the remote host is unreachable. So that is the reason where your load generator sends the request, but your remote host obstructs the traffic, which leads to this error. And then the second part, which is the java.net.socket exception connection reset. So this is another error which you might commonly face. So this error indicates that the target server or the network device is overloaded. And what are the analysis? So the closer the load is to 100%, yeah, so this is the error I'm talking about. The more likely it is a network issue. It can be a firewall problem, or if the error percentage is lower and occurs at different times during the test, it is more likely due to the server's inability to handle the load. So what are the different ways of determining the source of the error? So if it is a server issue, if all the user load experiences this error, or especially if it is relevant, if the load generators are located in different parts of the network. So if the problem might be the server, might be with the server itself or a resource it relies on, such as a database server. And how will you troubleshoot it? So you have to check the server logs for any errors or for any resource bottlenecks. And also have to ensure the server has adequate CPU, adequate memory, and disk input output. And you have to optimize the server configurations and resource allocations. And if it is a network issue, you will have symptoms like if only some of the user load encounters that this error at different times, or this error, I mean the NL-NETWORK-01 error, or it will include a potential issue with a network device that is overloaded or misconfigured, such as a router or switch. So the conclusion is the problem is likely within the network infrastructure. So how will you troubleshoot the network issue? You have to monitor your network devices for performances and errors, and you have to check for configurations and ensure they are not at or near capacity, and you have to implement quality of service to prioritize traffic. Also, you have to consider upgrading or load balancing network devices to distribute traffic more evenly. Some of the other points which I would tell you to consider, which is the firewall configuration. So you have to ensure the firewall is configured to allow the necessary traffic, and you have to verify that there are no blocking rules or policies affecting the load generators traffic. And intermediate router health, so you have to check the status and health of the intermediate routers. And the server resource monitoring, just make sure use tools to track the CPU, memory, disk usage, and network input output. And then the net testing environment consistency, so make sure that the testing environment mirrors the production environment as closely as possible. And the differences in network setup or server configuration between environments can lead to inconsistent results. So now I'll take you through the Neoload and I will show you how to fix these errors. So some of the best solutions to consider to fix this issue, which is, let me first open one of the project and I will take you through the first option. So going to the runtime. Yep. Okay. Yep. Create it. Go to the runtime. Yeah. Here you have your load generator. So you have to increase the number of load generators here for the test. So this could be, I mean, like your test could be exceeding the total number of requests that are possible on a given load generator. So you have to increase to more load generators, and that will spread the load to more load generator. So that is the very first option, because if you are using just only one load generator, that might get lots and lots of requests to it, and that might trigger the NL-NETWORK-01 error. So the first part is increase the number of load generators. So how to do that is just go to this location here, click on the plus symbol and add the load generators here with the IP that you have, and then click on OK, and that will be added to your load generators. And make sure the load generator agent services is running in the load generator, otherwise you'll be getting an orange button, something like this near the load generator. So that's a symptom that it's not running. And then the second part is running your test with less visual users. So to identify that if your servers are overloaded, just try using a very little load. Like if you are facing an error with like 200 users, just try with 20 users and see if that is an issue with the load, or if that's an issue with your application, or if that's an issue with any other load balancers or in the firewall. So that will give you an idea on like how or where exactly is the error. So once you get that confirmation that everything works fine with a lesser user load, then you can slowly ramp up your user load. Like for example, you can increase it to 50, you can increase it to 100, and then to 150, and then to 200, so that you can understand at which point of time do you get the issue. And then the third part is, yeah, you have to disable your antivirus in the system or your computer firewall, because when you run the test after disabling the antivirus or firewall, in an attempt to get to the root cause of the error. So to use a controller and load generator either side of a firewall, it is necessary to open the TCP port on the load generator's interface. So make sure you are disabling the antivirus or your computer's firewall, because they will, by chance, or they will try to interrupt your request. So make sure that you are disabling them. And the last one, which is changing the Neoload settings. So there are some settings which you can see here. Under your settings. So let me just, and then the next option is to make the changes in the controller properties, where you can navigate into your Neoload folder, and then inside your conf folder, open the controller properties. And here under the runtime, you can actually see lots and lots of options, but out of which we are going to see the two options, which is runtime.so.timeout, which is set to 30 seconds, and then the run time.connection.timeout is 30 seconds. So if you make it to 0, these values will create infinite timeouts. So that will, and in fact, will not make any failure. So this is some of the options which you can try running it. And in fact, I would say there are like several other options, and we'll see them one by one in our upcoming videos. Something like when you're uploading a file size. So here, if you see the runtime.max upload size.memory, and then we have various other options. So we'll see them one by one in the upcoming video. But for now, this one, like, you have to change the runtime.so.timeout and runtime.connection.timeout. So these are the two options which you have to make changes to 0, so that you can run and you can avoid these errors. So just to do a quick recap. So what did we see what did we see from the beginning is increasing the number of load generators here, and then running the test with lesser visual users, and disabling the antivirus or computer firewall, and changing the Neoload settings, which we just saw now in the controller properties. So these are some of the options which you can try. And yeah, so with that, I come to an end, and I definitely believe this video will be very useful to you. So until I meet you in our next video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite little YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.